Hi guys, it is episode 7 of Nick America. How's it going? I know you can't answer, but if you answered good, that's good to hear. I'm turning that down. Sorry, that went the wrong way. I'm Nick Youssef. Welcome to the show. I'm happy about this episode. It's my good friend Bobby Lee. I was trying to get him on earlier, but Bobby's a busy dude. Bobby's hosting his own very awesome and successful podcast called Tiger Belly. You should check it out. It's doing real well in the ratings and stuff, and it's just, you know, Bobby being Bobby at his best. So check that out after you've checked this out, and I think I'm going to be on it at some point soon. But Bobby's on my podcast this week talking about a bunch of just insane stuff. But real quick, couple of road things. June 11th through 19th in New York City. I'll be all over town doing a bunch of spots at the Stand, Stand Up New York Comedy Club, and a couple other shows. I'll post all that stuff on nickyoussef.com, so be sure to check that out. In San Francisco, July 6th through 8th, I'll be headlining the San Francisco Punchline, one of my favorite clubs ever. So get tickets to that. I think those are up now. You can go to the Punchline's website. Just Google Nick Youssef Punchline San Francisco. And I think there also might be a link on my website too, up by now, nickyoussef.com. And then Tempe Improv, July 22nd through 24th. And more stuff to come, and I'll announce it when it's ready to go. So keep this intro short and sweet. Oh, yeah, real quick, too. The giveaway stuff that I did a few episodes ago, I know I haven't sent that out yet, and one of you has reached out and said, hey, is that still coming? Of course it is coming. I apologize for the delay, but your prizes are still on their way. I've just been out of town and just, you know, other stuff, so sorry about that. Those are coming. And I think that's it. So yeah, this episode with Bobby, we talk about where he, you know, came from, where he grew up, what his childhood was like, what makes Bobby now. He had a pretty wild childhood, man. And I asked him about a lot of like Korean stereotypes that I've always thought were, you know, prevalent in a lot of families, and he says it's somewhat true. Definitely wasn't true, you know, with his family and him and his brother and stuff. But yeah, it's a really interesting episode. He tells a bunch of pretty wild stories, so it makes for a very interesting and very funny episode. We laughed a good amount of the time. And I hope you do too. So subscribe to this podcast if you have stumbled into it and haven't done that already. And if you use iTunes, the reviews and stuff and the ratings really help. And every week I've seen a couple of new ones, and that makes me feel very happy that you guys are listening and hearing me when I'm like, please rate and review. And you're doing it. So let's get a few more up this week. If you haven't done it and right now you're at a computer or you're, you know, looking at your phone, you're not busy you're not multitasking, get on iTunes, rate, review, and, you know, tell a friend, tweet about it, Instagram, Facebook, something, you know, let someone know. Try to build this thing into something bigger. So thank you in advance, and thank you again if you have already done that. So that being said, enjoy this episode with Bobby Lee. See you next week. All right, let's try that again. How happy are you to do this podcast?
That joke is over.
No, it's not. No one heard it the first time.
Oh, do it again then.
Yeah, this isn't like live.
Do it again.
How happy are you to do this podcast?
I am at, from what 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I'm at 90.
Fuck you.
That's how happy I am. I'm past the 10 to 90.
Yeah. This didn't have to be on a Saturday. It could have been on...
This right here, dude.
Yeah.
This is right here is how much I fucking love you.
That
you're in my fucking house on a Saturday. Just shut the fuck up, all right? And I'm like, oh, it's a Saturday. I don't want to, but that's how much I like you. So you should be having like a hard on right now.
hold on. First of all, I do have a hard on. Second,
Yeah.
I try to do this on many weekdays.
Yeah, because I fucking said
You moved
to
it
do
to
it at the
Saturday.
Comedy Store. And then you're like, there's too many people there. But that's the most convenient. Also at nights, I'm better.
My
mind is awake.
7 p.m.
I woke up at 5. This is breakfast time.
Stupid. What about when you do morning radio?
What about when you do morning radio? You fucking asshole. And it's also, let me just say something. You're like, the way you're dressed right now, you're like TV ready. This is fucking a podcast, bro.
This is just how
You
I
did
dress.
your hair. You wore your fucking fancy new Vans jacket.
I always do my hair. That's just my hair.
Yeah.
This is coming from a guy who wears a poncho.
That's fine.
You walk around in a poncho.
I was born
In a poncho?
not
I
in a
hope that's what
poncho,
you're gonna
but
say.
I was born a little off kilter.
I know that's
And so ever since I was a kid, I got to dress however I wanted.
okay. That's why you're the perfect guest for this thing.
Why? What's it called? What's the theme?
The theme is me and my fellow ethnic and or immigrant friends, comedians or otherwise,
Yeah.
talk about our upbringings and our lives
Ooh, fancy.
and see what the differences and similarities are.
Yeah.
And you are...
What?
So let's take the Korean stereotype, because I encounter this a lot with you. When people like encounter you and go, what the fuck is going on with you? You're unlike any other Korean we've ever met. Mm-hmm. How do you...
Well, well, in the beginning, when I was a kid, I felt lost because I was born in San Diego, but we lived in Minnesota for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And
How did that happen?
my parents owned a clothing business called Fashion Gal.
Wait, does that still exist?
There's some, yeah, but they don't own it anymore. But so they had stores out there, and it was just during the 70s.
Yeah.
And I just remember horrific, just social situations, really, at school and whatnot.
Were
I
you
had
the
no
only
friends.
Korean kid?
There was another guy named Tom Roach, but he was adopted.
Okay.
So he doesn't count. I don't say adopted, I say abandoned. He was abandoned
He was abandoned
by his Korean parents.
and then taken in by what, white
White
parents?
people.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But why doesn't he count? He's still look Korean.
Because their experience are a little different. A lot of them believe they're white. When you're an Asian guy or
Yeah.
any ethnicity and you're in a white environment all your life,
Yeah.
I personally don't envy it because later in life, I guess, they try to search for...
Yeah.
I was in Texas once, and this Korean dude walked up to me after a show. He goes, "Hey, can I talk to you?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, I was adopted, and I don't know. You're like, I don't know any Asians. Can I just hang out with you?"
What?
And I go, "No."
Why no?
Why? I don't know him.
We have taken total strangers to dinner after shows.
I understand that, but he had a Cho Sung-wi vibe.
Who's that?
The guy that shot up Virginia Tech.
Oh, I just call
I
him
have a
the
Cho
Virgin-
Sung-wi radar. I do, especially with Koreans. And I
Okay.
can read it. I go, no, this guy's going to snap.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't hang out with him, but...
Now you did run the risk of him snapping when you said no.
Yeah,
to
but I was
his
in a public...
face.
I was in a public situation.
So was the Virginia Tech guy.
Yeah, but it was a surprise attack. So, okay,
Okay.
it's Virginia Tech. I'm studying. I'm in a class, right?
Yeah.
It's the last thing, right? But since I'm aware of it, every movement I'm aware.
Okay.
Hey, so check this out. Hey, so I grew up in a white family. Can I hang out with you? No. As soon as he moves, I'm gone.
You just run.
Yeah, because I know, but he didn't, so I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have like a radar for those types of Koreans or Asians.
Yeah. Koreans especially. Koreans are crazy. I think the 50 years of oppression by Japan hardened us in a weird way.
Yeah. Is that where the like super strict upbringing?
I mean, check this out.
Okay.
If you look at just Asian comedians in general,
Yeah.
it's usually Koreans.
Yeah, we've talked about this before,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
never noticed that. But it's like almost all the Asian
Not
comics
all of
are-
them, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Steve Byrne, Kevin Shea, Margaret Cho, me,
What's
Dr. Ken.
He's Korean too. Okay.
Randall Park did stand up for a little bit. Randall.
Yeah.
There are some that aren't. The Filipinos. But the Filipinos are the same way for some reason.
Yeah.
They were also oppressed by different groups of, people.
Yeah.
And I believe that has something to do with comedy. I don't know what the connection is.
Okay.
But I believe that, and also we're a very like emotional, very physically violent people. I was always beat. Yeah.
Even like, I mean, South Korea is not known to exhibit any of those like.
Yeah, but if you look at the UFC, even the Asian fighters that are on the UFC, like the Korean Zombie. There's another guy that just fought that's very good. He fought Cub Swanson. They're Korean,
right?
And and the best fighters are Filipinos too.
Right.
Manny Pacquiao. I think there's a correlation. I don't know what it is though. I don't think it's coincidence.
Yeah. So wait. So
not that we're better. I'm not saying we're better. I'm just saying
there's just that thing is in you
that
guys.
thing is there.
So wait, what? So your parents were like that. Your mom and dad grew up like hardened.
My mom, when she was a kid, she was a kid during the Korean War, and she was walking her sister to school, her little sister, my aunt.
Yeah.
And so it took like 2 miles. So they got really early. And it was during the Korean War. Mm-hmm. And my mom, they went like maybe, I don't know, a half a mile or whatever. And she forgot a book. So she goes, I'm going to run back up to the house. You stay here. And then when she went back to where her sister was, a military truck had went around the bin and ran her over. And half her body was on one side of the street and the other half was on the other. I mean, it was literally like carnage. Okay?
Whoa.
So then my mom had to go back up to tell her parents, right? And so my uncle came down because during the war, there's no ambulance.
Yeah.
So he had these empty rice bags, and they had to pick up the carcass and then, into the bags, and then they went up and buried my aunt. That's my mom's
one of her
earliest memories.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you can imagine, she comes to America, meets my dad, and my dad also is kind of an alcoholic, and not kind of, he is, and a violent guy, and those two together, wow, what a party!
Yeah.
What a party! Woo! Beat parties every night, man.
What a beat parties.
Yeah.
So wait, did they met here?
Yeah, and my dad stalked my mom.
Really?
Yeah. She didn't want anything to do with him. And she moved actually to Wisconsin.
That's from Korea to Wisconsin.
They met in L.A.
Okay.
She met my dad, and he freaked her out so much that he
wait, how? Just by being like aggressive?
Just being aggressive.
I love you.
I love you. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so she went to Wisconsin, and guess what happened? He followed her there.
Whoa.
But he showed up with meat.
Wait.
Like a steak or something. That's what she said.
Really?
But it was like a prime cut.
Like was it cooked, or I'm going to cook it for you?
I don't know.
The raw meat? Hey, I brought dinner.
No, it was raw meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
No, but that's a Korean thing.
Really?
Meat? That's good.
Wait, hold on. It's a Korean thing to show up with raw meat.
What's better, meat or roses? What was it? A rose dies after about 5 days?
Meat's already dead, and then you're going to eat it.
But you eat it. It's sustenance.
Yeah, roses you can look at for a week.
Fuck roses.
And go, oh, yeah.
Fuck roses.
I mean, I guess showing up with food.
Yeah. Dude, I mean...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just telling you a story, bro.
Right? No, I know.
I mean, my parents aren't here to defend it. You know what I mean? But I'm just...
but when it's a weird story, people are going to have questions.
Yeah, that's true.
What the fuck?
And so is that what she basically went, all right.
Well, it is a good cut of steak.
Also, it's like there's no, like back in the late 60s, how many other Korean dudes are out there? And so she was just like, his heart is there.
Yeah.
And
were they not open to dating white people? Were they like in America going, I got to find another Korean quick?
They're not those types.
They're not the date outside.
They're not the Steve Burns mom type.
So specific.
Yeah, they're not like that.
So they got here in the 60s.
But then what happened was they got married.
Yeah.
And then she realized that he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And then the beating started. I mean, her teeth are not real.
What?
The first front ones, because he knocked them out.
Jesus.
I remember.
Was this after when you were?
When I was a kid.
When you were a kid.
Yeah, like 3 a.m. Like my brother and I, Steve and I, used to sleep in the same room. And all of a sudden, my mom's in the room, and then she's like crying, and then she opens her mouth, and her like mouth is like her teeth are red.
The fuck? How old were you?
I don't know, 7, and then 6.
Okay.
And then us barricading the door because he was coming through.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was my life.
Your whole childhood was that kind of stuff.
Well, my parents are midgets, so
it didn't take long before.
I mean, my dad is literally under 5 foot, both of them.
Oh my God!
I know. And when Kalila met them, she's like, "Holy fuck, they're midgets."
She's like, "I could beat up the both of them."
Yeah. So when I was 14, I outgrew them.
Yeah.
15.
And then what did they hit you to?
Oh, beat the shit out of me
until you were 14.
Yeah, because I was always. But here's the thing, though. My brother and I were always like just causing trouble anyway. I don't think it had anything to do with our upbringing. Maybe genetics.
You don't think?
Yeah, because even when I was like 2, I was rushed to the hospital because I opened up a Tylenol bottle and I ate them all.
Okay.
Right? Which is like a precursor to, I think, my drug addiction.
I mean,
I'll tell you why, because I know that, I knew that if I had a headache or somebody had a headache, they would take it. It would make them feel better. I don't know. Maybe there's a connection, but even as a kid, I was in trouble. Like my grandmother.
Yeah.
We went to Korea, and she's paralyzed from the neck down.
Wait, really?
My grandmother was.
Okay.
From a stroke.
Yeah.
So she never left the room. She stayed in a room. She lived for 20 years, 25 years.
After the stroke.
Paralyzed from the neck down.
She lived with you and your mom? And
No. We would go visit Korea.
Oh, okay.
And then one day, my dad noticed a welt all over her body. Okay.
Oh my God! This better not be going where I think it's going.
And I was probably same 8 years old, whatever.
Yeah.
And then my dad says the next day he comes back into the room where his mom was, and my brother and I have 2 sticks.
No, you're not.
My grandmother.
Why are you laughing?
Because she was smiling. Because she couldn't feel it.
Because she was hanging out with her grandkids.
Yeah, but we were beating the shit out of her with sticks. But that's what I'm saying is that I just remember being like that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. But do you think that that's a genetic thing or like
I think you're born that way.
But also, it's like you've seen that behavior from your dad.
No,
you're like,
you're born that way.
Dad does it, so now let's do it.
No, my parents together, just they created 2 fucking
evil kids.
Not evil kids, just like crazies.
Wow. So from as young as you can remember, I
was always in trouble. I was always like, when in Minnesota, I found a Playboy magazine and I cut out all the vagina parts and I pasted it around campus, like stuff like that.
Oh my God.
And I got in trouble for that,
And what did your parents do?
They beat me.
So they just like punished you and then you just kept going. You're like, can't stop.
But it got to the point where they just thought, especially when the drugs started happening when I was like 13.
Yeah.
Smoking pot and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to 3 rehabs by the time I was 17.
And when did you move back from Minnesota to
11.
San Diego?
11.
Okay, so the drugs and all that stuff started in San Diego.
And what going from Minnesota to San Diego was a real. That's where my life started, I believe. Because when you live in Minnesota and you don't see people that look like you, except at church.
Oh, there were some Koreans there.
There were some Koreans there, but I just in school, especially, I didn't see any.
Yeah.
And so,
how was that though? When you were in school, were you always like, were you picked on, told you were different?
No, I was just. I think they were afraid of me.
Yeah, because you were probably like so.
I was just like, no, it was just I just
weird,
had this,
and they must have just been fascinated by you.
Yeah, just this weird kid that like. OCD.
Yeah. They're like, that's the vagina guy. He's like pasting. That guy's actually helping us out. We can see what pussies look like now.
Yeah. But then imagine going to where I grew up in San Diego and you show up. This is I don't know, 6th grade,
Yeah.
and you see Filipino kids with mustaches. Like full-blown mustaches. You know what I mean? Like
In the
other
6th
kids that look
grade?
like Mexicans,
Yeah.
a few blacks, you know, and you go, oh,
You're like, this is
where it
better.
is.
Yeah.
And, you know, you skaters,
Right.
you know. I mean, this is San Diego,
So that's where
80s,
like,
you
your
know.
identity kind of started coming into
Yeah,
play.
man. And then my cousin Paul lived here, and that's when the drugs and all that. I mean, I remember the reason why I like the Velvet Underground and Roxy Music and all these weird bands, even back then, was because a Kurosawa film. My cousin Paul taught
was
me
the
all
guy.
that shit.
Because, yeah, your parents weren't into rock and roll
No.
and all that sort of...
My cousin Paul. Without my cousin Paul, I would probably be somewhere else right now.
Yeah.
Maybe dead.
So he taught you how to be cool and, like, listen to... He Americanized you.
Yeah, I was really into like film and
Yeah.
you know, he was very artsy fartsy back then.
Right. How much older was he than you?
3 years.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I just went into my drug years, you know.
Was that because of him, too? He's like, you know what's going to help with the
no,
Velvet
I smoked
Underground?
pot before, but you know, I mean, I had done acid with him, and
Yeah.
it was some fun fucking times, man. I remember like because he's 3 years older, and my sophomore year in high school, his parents got him an apartment like by my house
Yeah.
because they moved to Oregon, and I remember in his apartment. We were on acid and we're watching the movie Platoon.
It's 13 years old.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was now a sophomore,
Okay.
and it was just like what a great movie when you're
On acid.
when you're young and you're on acid. It's so fucking disturbing. But yeah, I mean, he taught me a lot, you know. But back to Asians.
Yeah. Well, he's Asian, isn't he?
He is Korean, yeah.
Okay. Where's he now?
I think he's in Oregon.
You don't talk to him anymore.
Some things happen.
Uh-oh.
Some things happen.
You can't talk about it?
I can.
Okay. What happened?
Well, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
On a podcast, I said that, which I'm doing it now, which is fucking insane.
You're making the same
Fucking
mistake.
insane. I'm about to make the same mistake again.
Okay.
But I said that his younger brother, Andy, who I was very close to,
Yeah.
I said on a couple of podcasts that we sucked each other off.
Now it's a couple podcast. This is the third time you're making this mistake.
No, I'm not saying it's true.
It's not true.
It is.
Make up your mind.
But we were kids, right? I mean, we were
Yeah, that's
little
all kids are blowing each other.
What?
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
We were kids, and I'm like, yeah, all kids are blowing each other, apparently.
But then, like, it got weird, and then Andy's mom found out,
yeah.
right? Who's my mom's sister.
Right.
And she called me. I was living with Sarah. Remember I was dating Sarah?
Oh, it's okay.
And she was living here years ago. And I remember calling me one morning, screaming at me. You did not suck each other. Like screaming
Yeah.
about that. And I go, all right, we didn't suck each other up. What, you know?
Yeah, whatever you say.
Whatever you're saying. And then
2 months later, I listened to another podcast.
but then she yelled at my mom.
Oof.
And they didn't talk for years.
Wow.
It
What did your
destroyed-
mom say?
Well, I told her everything.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows every little thing. Like when I graduated from high school, I used to go to Adelita.
What's that?
It's a brothel in Tijuana.
Okay.
And I used to, go to my mom and go, hey, Mom, can I get $100? Why? Well, because I did all the chores and errands and stuff. She goes, oh, yeah, okay, but what are you going to do with it? I want to go to Adelita. And I would go to Adelita and I would tell her about it.
And what would she do?
Because I was sober. I was in AA.
Yeah.
And that I had changed in their eyes. They were fine with it.
Yeah. So they're like, you can
And they also knew I was unfuckable. I was pretty much unfuckable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So your parents from the get go were just like, yeah, these are our insane.
It's funny
kids.
because Margaret's parents, like, she's such great communication with them in that way.
Yeah.
I think that's very a good ethnic thing,
Because normally it's not like that. There's no like communication, emotional, anything with like a lot of ethnic families.
No, I mean, look at David Cho. Same thing. David Cho and his mom.
Open book.
Open book.
Wow.
Yeah, my parents and I have an open book.
Is that common though in Korean?
I don't know, but the Koreans that I know, it's open.
Really?
Because Kalila and I were at a Korean restaurant, and we just saw a kid who's like college and her older Korean parents screaming at each other at a restaurant about his life in Korean.
Yeah.
Right? And they're just loud, and they don't care if it's out there.
Wow.
It's the stereotype that Asians are submissive and quiet.
Yeah.
It's generally
not true.
Japanese, Korean, Chinese.
Yeah.
Are a lot like that, but some of them aren't. Some of the races.
Interesting. So Koreans are more like, loud.
I believe that. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
This is my experience.
But I guess, yeah, you, David, Margaret, but you guys all got into the arts and entertainment, so that was just kind of in you guys anyway.
Yeah, but what made us do it, And
right.
I don't know. There is something there, and it's also my relationship with those two. Mm-hmm. It's like, how like when I started doing stand up, I was like immersed into the Mexican stand up world. Mm-hmm. I used to open for Mencia, Carlos, and then I used to Que Loco and the Latino Laugh Festival and all these
things. Was that
things.
just like a coincidence, or did you find that more comfortable?
It's the only group of comics that accepted me.
Yeah.
At that time.
So
you couldn't go in the mainstream clubs, right? Back then, like Largo and all these alt rooms were big.
Yeah.
They didn't want me, so I just would do gigs in West Covina or whatever, and so, what was I even talking about? But Mexicans, they used to fight like the comics, like Jeff Garcia wants to kill Johnny Sanchez.
Yeah, they used to always want to murder each
other, Carlos Mencia strangled George Lopez at the Laugh Factory. Don't remember that?
It was the other way around. Lopez strangled.
Lopez, strangled Carlos Mencia. I meant, but with Koreans, there is none of that.
They all just get along.
It's not that we get along. It's just that I don't see it ever happening.
Right.
It's a love fest. Even like Ali Wong, she's getting big.
Oh yeah, she's Korean too.
She is? I think she is.
What is she?
I don't know.
Chinese, something.
Yeah,
I think she has a mix of two things.
I think she is half Korean, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Even her success. I know that Margaret's happy with her. I'm happy with her, and it's cool. I want to see other Asians make it.
Until there's too many, and then you're like, get the fuck out of my way. You're taking my jobs.
I think I'm past that now.
Yeah. Well, you are. Yeah.
Well, only because of the fact that I'm old.
Yeah.
Like I've been around for so long that it's just there's nothing I can do.
So you're like,
I can't change my age. I can't change the time. Mm-hmm. All the things that have happened, and I'm just accepting what's coming along now.
So it's different in like Korean culture, I suppose, as like compared to like, let's say like Middle Eastern culture, or like Indian or something like that. Like the kids are supposed to be like a certain way. The families are like, you have to, be a lawyer, go to med school, look good for the family, the community. And,
we're like that too. We're more like that than most, I think.
But at the same time, it's more of like open and accepting.
The ones that do get away. Here's my point.
Okay,
is that I have 28 first cousins.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
They all went to college.
Yeah.
They all had jobs. Mm-hmm. My brother and I are the only. My brother even graduated from ASU. I'm the only one.
What was his degree in?
Like hotel management. Yeah, or something like that.
Oh man!
But it took him also a decade. I'm not kidding you. He was there till he was 30. He couldn't get it together. But I'm the only one. God, so funny. I think that it is there, but the ones that get away, and they go the opposite direction, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like that everywhere, I think.
Right? Yeah, but I guess that's a stereotype you hear with like ethnic families, where it's like the parents are super strict and you have to do X, Y, and Z. That's why we came to this country, blah, 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 blah. But you're you and your brother are the only two out of everybody in your family that...
No, but Paul and Andy were crazy.
Okay.
My cousin Eddie is a skater. He owns skate shop. They're there.
Yeah.
but I was the black sheep for sure.
Yeah.
And but for some reason I'm always able to get it together. Like I have 15 years sobriety, but then I had 12 years of sobriety. So when I do my binges, I can get it real fast.
Yeah.
The enlightenment or the awakening of, oh shit, this isn't going well. You know?
So what did your parents do when you were like a teenager, when you were like being crazy? Were they like...
They just spent money, because we have insurance, so they would just spend money on rehabs.
Wow, until it just worked.
They probably spent about $100,000 on rehabs.
Wow.
And I can't imagine what they went through. I mean, I just feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I do, if I think about it, what they went through with me.
Yeah, every day must have been like another thing. What the fuck?
It's not even just that. It's just I was violent.
Yeah.
I was like I ran away from home for like a month. Me and my cousin Andy tried to rob a Ross Dress for Less.
Really?
Yeah, and he got arrested, and I got away. I was a getaway driver.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I drove up to L.A. from San Diego, and I slept out of my car.
That's how far you got away? You're like, I'm leaving the whole region of San Diego. Like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. And then I came home to get clothes. And I didn't know my mom was home. Her car wasn't in the parking lot or the garage or driveway. And I snuck in, and she was there on my bed sleeping, crying.
How long had you been gone at that point?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
Okay. Jesus.
And I beat the shit out of her.
Because she was in your bed?
She was crying. I don't know. She was just bothered me. So I beat her. I beat her silly.
You're joking.
I'm not kidding. I feel bad about it.
Well, I mean, I hope
but
so.
that was the sobriety. That's where I got sober, though. That was my bottom.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of people's bottom. And then you were like, all right, Mom, send me to rehab now.
But I mean, they're not all. I mean, when I was in rehab, there's this thing called knees to knees.
Okay.
Where, the people that are in the rehab and their family comes, and you're in a fucking like a conference hall.
Yeah.
And everyone forms a circle.
Okay.
And you take 2 chairs, you put in the middle of the circle, and you sit knees to knees with a family member, and you say dark things or things that they're trying to,
in front of other people.
In front of other people.
Holy shit.
So I said to my dad, we're doing knees to knees together.
Oh, man.
And I go, Dad, when we lived in Minnesota, I was molested by a guy with Down syndrome for like the whole summer. And you could hear a pin drop in the room. And then this is what my dad did. He started laughing.
No way.
Yeah. And then my brother started laughing. Then my mom started laughing. And then I started laughing. So we now look like the craziest people in the world.
Oh, everyone else just sat there stone-faced.
Because his laugh made me laugh. Like, why the fuck would you laugh at that? But then it's like, then I'm like, oh yeah, it's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we all laugh. But that's that's us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is is there a Korean community in San Diego, and how did they handle your parents? Were you guys
I don't even think they knew I existed really, because, they were so shameful of me. I was never brought up.
Okay. But they went to like a Korean
Here's another
church.
incident that I remember that when we used to have these family gatherings. Everyone lived in San Diego at the time.
Yeah.
And my dad's sister, they were all drinking, and there's probably about 30, 40 people, and she says, she's drunk. She says to my dad, I don't know why you married my mom. Uh-huh. She's ugly. She said that out loud.
Jesus.
Right? So then my dad, I can see him look at her, and then the next thing you know, he grabs a butter knife from the table. He lunges across the table, right, to kill her. Right? It was chaos.
Oh my God. How many people were there? Like 20?
Yeah, 30.
Jesus.
It was like, I just remember food flying, you know what I mean? And, me and my brother running away laughing. I mean, it was insane.
That's fucking...
And yeah, I mean, that's literally what I grew up with. Insanity.
The whole family's that way.
We're not crazy. They're just, we're livers.
Livers.
We like to live.
That's just wild. Yeah, I mean, not everyone's crazy, but there's a lot of families that are like that.
Yeah.
Where the holidays are insane, everyone's fighting, and everyone's drunk.
But that's why, he's an alcoholic, so...
Yeah.
You
Was that all he did, or did he do other drugs?
They don't even know what drugs are.
Really? Just booze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's never even seen marijuana.
Thank God, because if he was cocaine, it would have just gone it would have gone nuts.
Meth? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's making lampshades out of our skin.
What happened to the kids? You like this light?
You like the light?
Holy fuck, dude.
But what's cool is that, and then when I started doing stand-up, they were just so disappointed.
That was all the rehabs, all that other stuff.
Yeah, because I had been sober for like 6 years when I started doing stand-up.
Oh, so they were like, oh, he's on the right track.
Yeah, so I got sober when I was 17.
Okay.
And I started doing stand-up when I was 23.
Okay.
So I had all kinds of jobs from 17 to 23. I worked on a construction, waited tables, worked at coffee shops. But I was like, maybe I'll go back to junior college, get my degree or whatever. So they were like, okay, this, he's sober.
Things are looking
up. And then,
yeah.
boom, the bombshell. I think I want to be a stand-up comedian. And
your dad picked up a butter knife.
Yeah, I know. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And then I refused to get a job. Like I worked at the Comedy Store, but then they didn't pay much.
Well, yeah.
And then when I moved to LA, I lived in Silver Lake. Do you remember that? Oh, yeah, I didn't know you then.
No, yeah, I knew you then. I helped you move out of that house, and remember you were like.
In Silver Lake?
Yeah, on the street right
on
next
Sanborn.
to Sanborn.
Yeah. Wow, you knew me then?
Dude, we met like 16 years ago.
Oh my God.
You used to host the open mic at the store.
Yes,
and then you met me and you were like, are you really a teenager? You're like 18? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm going to put you up on the open mic every time I host. And then I would give you rides home because you didn't have a car yet.
I didn't even have a car.
Yeah. So I'd give you rides to that place. And then we started becoming friends and stuff. And you would like help me out with however you could if I needed like money or whatever, like clean my car, or like give me a ride home, I'll give you $5.
Yeah.
And then when you were moving out of that place, you were like, hey, I got to get rid of all this shit. And you just had clothing and shoes everywhere. It was just fucking all this awesome shit. And I didn't have like cool clothes yet. I just had the stuff literally, some of it I was wearing from high school.
Yeah.
Like, I had no real
Too bad you're like
sense.
6'5".
I know, yeah.
And I'm 5'4".
Right, yeah. So yeah, the jeans were like, there's no way. And the shoes, no way.
Some of the jackets maybe.
Yeah, and then a bunch of the shirts. So all my first really cool graphic T-shirts and stuff that people were like, cool shirt, were literally, I would be like, Bobby Lee.
That's so funny.
And the first thing they'd be like, there's no way, how does that fit? I'm just like, dude, I don't know. And it just would.
Yeah.
And then I took all the rest of that stuff. I remember you going like, you're like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to throw it away. I'm like, dude, you know how much you can get if you resell this at like Wasteland or Crossroads? And you're like, I can make money doing this? I was like, yeah. And you're like, okay, well, you take it all there and sell it, and then we'll like split the profits. And then I took it, and I was like, well, this is going to take like a few rounds. I got to go to these places more than once.
I remember, yeah.
And then you didn't even, all you had to do was wait for me to do that. And you're like, that's too complicated. Keep all the money.
Yeah.
And then I just kept it all. I made like $300.
That's amazing.
Or maybe more.
That's amazing.
Just selling all your awesome old clothes.
Yeah.
Some of which you'd never even worn.
I'm a good dude.
You are a good
in that
dude.
way.
Yeah.
But see, but in that building, that was the second place.
Okay.
All right. I lived upstairs from there with 11 dudes.
Wait, what?
Called the dumpster. So the thing that you moved me out of was a renovated one that when I got Mad TV, I moved out of the dumpster.
Okay.
Which was upstairs where my brother and Callisto and all these guys lived.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I was living in the dumpster, they used to call it the dumpster. It was a dump. Flies, urine.
How big? Like a one bedroom?
Two bedroom, 11 people. It was like a fucking commune. We let anyone stay there.
Wow.
Out of town skaters. Wee Man stayed there. A bunch of people stayed there.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then,
everyone's rent was like $8.
Yeah. Oh, no. And then we had a runaway 17-year-old girl from Beverly Hills who was a meth addict.
Whoa.
And she cleaned the place. It was
course.
amazing. She would take a toothbrush and a bar of soap, and late at night you hear.
But before the toothbrush and the soap, a lot of meth.
yeah.
There's her cleaning.
Yeah, but then,
dude,
I used to call my mom every month for money.
Okay.
And it was painful.
To ask for money?
Oh my God, every month?
Yeah, I used to ask for money sometimes, and it would just feel emasculating.
Oh, God, it's the worst. I also, at that time, I was 28. 29 years old.
Okay, yeah. I was
calling every month for like $200-$300.
Okay.
And they used to give me the hardest fucking time.
Of course.
But check this out. For the last 12 years, I've sent my parents $4,000 a month.
Wow.
And sometimes I remind them. I go, remember how hard it was to get $300?
Yeah.
I'm giving you $4,000 just out of my own heart. See how easy this is?
Yeah.
You know?
What do they say?
They laugh it off, but
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it was a struggle up here. But then it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, you made it kind of quick after moving up here.
I don't think I did.
You don't think so?
3
You were
years?
up here like 2-3 years, and then you got on Mad TV, and then we're on that for a decade.
Yeah, but those 3 years though were the darkest years.
Well, I mean, I'm sure
they were fucked years. You're right. I was very lucky.
A lot of people have 7 or 8 of those dark years, and then they're like, "Is anything ever?"
Or 30.
Or 30.
I've seen 30s.
Yeah.
People that have been doing it and they still haven't. It's so sad to watch.
Like the people that you still see at the Comedy Store open mic.
Oh my God, I can't even. I mean, I don't want to name names, but I want to.
25 years later, and they're just like, "Well, maybe
I know.
I'll sign up this week, and maybe it'll happen."
It was so funny last night. Dice went up.
Yeah.
And he went up before me.
Uh-huh.
And he went a little long.
What did you do, like a half hour?
A little longer.
Okay.
And I'm sitting back there with Kevin Nealon and a couple of guys.
Uh-huh. And
they were kind of, I don't know how they were feeling. But I was loving it. Because it reminded me back from when I first worked there.
Yeah.
How Dice and Mencia and these guys ran the fucking place.
Eddie Griffin.
Yeah, and it just gave me a little taste of what it was like.
Yeah.
And it felt good.
Yeah, because now you're like at the prime time hour.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It just how, you have to walk away from yourself.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And
you have to step back and look at it for what it is. And because we get caught up in like, where's my show? How about me? But if you take a step back and look at what you're doing, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
I mean, if you compare now to like when you were living with 11 roommates,
but even then, it's like exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting
in retrospect.
Way. Oh, for sure. You have all these stories, and it was just like you didn't know what would happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, there is a feeling where it's like, I don't know how one makes it.
Yeah,
because you see it. What sucks about LA is that you see it around you.
Yeah,
you know people. I just booked a fucking show.
Yeah,
and you're like working the door, right? And you have no money. And you're like, how does that happen?
Who do you... And they're like, yeah, my agents and manager. How do you get those?
Yeah, I know. No one tells you.
They're like, yeah, I went to lunch with my casting director friend. How did you meet them?
I don't even know who that is.
Everything's a mystery.
Everything's a mystery.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm in at the Improv now. How? Who books? How do you do it?
Yeah.
They don't even have an open mic.
Or you drive down the street and you see your friend on a billboard.
Yeah.
And you go, I don't even...
Yeah,
how does that even...
And that process started a year and a half before the billboard. Like the audition, the thing. And you just have zero idea.
Yeah, but now I know. I know now. They just call you.
Yeah, they go, hey, here's all this money. Show up on Monday.
I mean, this last show...
Which one?
The ABC show, my show got picked up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
It's a mid-season. It's fine, but it's ABC.
Oh, now
it's fine.
you're complaining.
But it's 13.
What's it called again?
Splitting Up Together.
Okay.
With Jenna Fisher and Oliver Hudson.
Yeah. What do you play?
I play their friend. I'm always the friend.
Is it an Asian-centered character, or you're just a guy?
Well, I mean, I'm married to an Asian woman.
Okay, but you're not
But
like
we're
an
all
Asian.
no, we don't speak it.
Okay.
No accent. No, I'm just a regular dude.
Okay. How did that feel? Probably good. That
Well,
it wasn't like
I
okay.
rarely do. I mean, animal practice. Do I have an Asian accent? You fuckface.
No.
Well, then there you go.
Well, okay, but you've played other things.
Yeah, but
where-
I only do it if it's like I did it dictator
yeah.
because it's Sasha. I'll do it if they asked.
Right.
If he asked.
Yeah, at the right thing. And
At the right thing, but I'm not going to just do it. I remember Jamie Kennedy offering me something 3 years ago. Do this movie, and I'm like, I read it. I'm like, no.
You're like, I won't do that.
There's no
and
way.
Love, you're not that guy.
Yeah,
You're just a
so
guy.
I mean, I'll do it if it's like you're in a scene with Tom Hardy and it's Christopher Nolan directing.
Yeah.
I'll
And
wear
we're
the
gonna-
rice party
we're
patty
gonna
hat.
tape your
Yeah, I don't
eyes.
give a fuck. I'll wear the yellow makeup, everything.
And the tape will be visible.
I'll bind my feet, walk on their back. You know what I mean? I'll do the whole thing. But
Yeah.
but this thing was a miracle. How this happened.
How did it happen?
I just was driving down the street, and my agent called me and goes, "You just got a show." I go, "What?" I told you because I thought he said I had to go read.
Okay.
And I go, I told you that I didn't want to read this year.
Yeah.
No, they gave you one
Without any.
without anything.
Okay.
I go, oh,
That's been your dream
it's my dream.
since Mad TV.
And
you're
then
like,
I went and did a table read.
Yeah.
I shot it, and it got picked up.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
How many episodes?
13.
Sweet.
And Ellen DeGeneres is producing it, and
Cool.
yeah,
And so you, Jenna Fisher?
yeah, she's from The Office.
But the office, yeah. And
Oliver,
then
you know Oliver Hudson?
I don't think so.
That's Kate Hudson's brother.
Okay, cool.
And it's gonna get canceled. It's fine.
You don't know what'll happen. So now you're going to be on that. You're on Love. What else are you in?
Why are you being sarcastic?
No, because you're doing.
Since you're asking, I'm going to
You're
tell you.
doing really well these last few years. Because I
Yeah.
remember a few years before that, like
Suicidal.
Yeah, we were on the road together.
Oh my God, suicidal.
And you were doing a lot of road work because you weren't working a lot here. You had done a movie here, a movie there, bit parts.
It
on
was
shows, but-
the darkest when those times
yeah.
were the darkest. And
I remember.
And I wish I didn't stress out and cry so much.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of moments of like, especially when Randall and Ken came out of the scene, and Ken Jeong and Randall Park, and they were booking everything, which is they're talented guys, and I love those guys a lot,
Yeah.
and I have no hard feelings. I mean, I love them,
Yeah.
and I'm happy, but they had a monopoly in the town,
Yeah.
and I felt like, oh, no one loves me anymore. You know what I mean? And so, and then you're in like Lubbock or you're on the road,
Yeah.
and some gigs aren't great, and it's depressing.
And it makes you feel even further away.
Yeah,
from the
you
next
feel
thing.
far away from, and you're like, you know what? But then it's like you just kind of go, you know what? You have to accept it, and you can't be bitter about it. You have to go. I had my time.
Yeah. Or this is just a phase. This is like a.
I told this to somebody last night when I saw Dice.
Yeah. He's a great example of this.
Yeah, he's a great example because, or even Louis Anderson, of you just have to walk through your fear, stay in the game, you don't quit,
Yeah.
and it'll always come back around. I feel a little bit of that happening right now,
Yeah.
I also, I mean, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I'm also extremely flexible and open now when I'm on sets and doing jobs.
What do you mean?
There was a time where I'm not doing that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So why would you sound like an? Oh, okay.
Like I remember like during Pineapple Express, there was a scene where they just wanted me to lay on the ground, and I knew that the camera wasn't on me. It was so far away. So you're like, they're not gonna see that. I'm gonna lay there for fucking 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're in a movie with James Franco and Seth Rogen. Lay there.
Right.
But
right.
I didn't do that.
What did you say? Like,
I'm not doing it.
Have a stand-in do it.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay.
No, it caused a problem.
Did it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
There was a problem. And I wish I hadn't done that.
Because now they
Because
hate you.
now, I'll stay there for fucking 19 hours. I'm not even kidding you. With no water, I'll go, how long do you want me to lay? I'll lay there until I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm that way. I show up early. You
yeah,
know,
do the job. Be pleasant to be around.
I did a
all that
movie
stuff.
this summer at Independent, and they called me in at like 6 p.m. night shoot. 8 a.m. the next day, I didn't shoot at all.
Yeah.
And they came up to me and goes, we didn't get to your scene.
And you're like, cool, see you tomorrow.
But 10 years ago, fuck you.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Really? You
I
would
would've gone
like that on
crazy.
set?
Not fuck you, but I would have called somebody.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I go, that's fine. I get it.
Yeah.
And you know, I have to, it softened me those years of no work because I realized that it can go away so quickly
Yeah.
that I don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
I really am extremely grateful, and it's easy and it's fun, and I'm lucky.
Yeah, you pick your battles.
There is no bottles.
You just won't ever say anything.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, because it's like, I'm already here, I'm already doing it,
I
I'm already
don't give
making
a fuck,
great
dude.
money. Yeah,
I'm so lucky.
yeah.
I don't give a fuck, bro.
Do you think lately there's been more work for minority actors?
Yes. I
'Cause
think
now-
that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, because you're like one of the better ones at it. So now it's like, well, we need to cast more minorities.
Well,
And
it
you've
has
had-
changed in that way where I can feel it a little bit of like,
Yeah,
you know, projects that normally wouldn't even consider someone like me, or at least I'm in. Like I was watching a trailer, Baby Driver. It's a big movie with Kevin Spacey, and I remember I read for that.
yeah.
I read for Aquaman. I'm reading for things
That they
that
would
are like
have
pretty
never-
big that would never read me, and I can see them trying.
Yeah,
And you know, as long as you see that, and you also look at the face of television now, I just think that it's good for us. You know,
Yeah.
I think that our presidency, you know, is not good, but
yeah.
you know, other than that, I think Hollywood is kind of. But they do make choices that are a little.
Yeah,
Weird.
like what was the last movie that just came out that was starring a white person playing
Scarlett Johansson and Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, wasn't there even one after that where someone was playing
Matt Damon in China,
Something like
Wall
that.
of China, Great Wall.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, there's just like
And there
this
was one,
list.
a last one that they just booked. I forgot what it was, but yeah.
But yeah, I feel like now there's way more, you know, like places like Netflix and Amazon and that kind of thing that can just be like, we're going to play to like a niche market. And
No,
then-
I also think that now you see, now here's what it is that my specific situation is because of, ironically, how good Ike's doing, Barinholtz, and Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Because Jordan, you know, last year he got me in that commercial campaign,
Okay.
and they're trying to help me, right? So their success, I'm getting a lot of kind of Mad TV residual love,
Yeah.
right? Because those kids that saw us then, you know, some of them are now in situations where they can help you,
Yeah.
right? And also Hollywood is changing.
Yeah.
It's a combination of a couple of things, and there's also more jobs.
Yeah.
I believe.
So it's just like this perfect storm, and you're like, you've been around just long enough to
it's-
reap extra
And also, I don't look. I
benefits.
looked at Facebook. I looked at people that I went to high school with. I look fine.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I look in the mirror. I go, oh, you know what? You're fine for, you know.
Yeah, life is really good
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
Life is good. Yeah, look at that, man. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you own your own place. You have a
And look at the
fucking-
Comedy Store. I mean, that's another one that, you know, you and I were there at the Comedy Store when
It was half closed.
it wasn't even a business.
Yeah.
It literally was on a Saturday night, 12 people.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty.
Pretty
lot of the
fucking
times.
terrible. And the lineups were terrible.
Yeah.
And you and I, Sebastian, there's a couple of us
Yeah.
that kind of went, you know what? This is our club.
Yeah.
And we're going to stay here.
Yeah, they'll book us. And
Yeah,
we'll just
and
get
we
better.
reap the benefits because we're still there,
Yeah.
and we survived all these regimes,
Yeah.
and now it's the best club. I mean, I can't believe when I drive there. I can't believe it's where it's at.
Yeah, still,
mind-boggling.
Still, every time I pull into the drive, sometimes you can't pull into the driveway because there's so many fucking people out there.
Yeah. It's
And
incredible.
you're like, oh, the building must be on fire and everyone's escaping. You're like, oh no, it's just
Yeah.
really, it's the most popular club in America right now.
Like tomorrow night, I got a spot in the belly room.
What do you mean, son?
It's because it's Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
So they did a belly room show.
Wow. So they're doing like a main room, OR,
yeah.
and belly room.
I got two. I got one in the OR too.
Crazy.
But like the belly room is going to be filled.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It really is.
I mean, last night, even watching guys and then being with Eddie Pepitone, Kevin Nealon, a bunch of guys. Which is Eddie and Kevin were both later. They're not guys that were there during the struggle.
Yeah, they're just now reaping.
I mean, Apatow, all these guys. I believe Rogan is a part of the struggle part. He was there for a long time.
He was the only reason the weekends were good back in the day.
Exactly, yeah. Joe Rogan was amazing.
I remember people being bummed out if he was on the road because he'd be in town shooting Fear Factor. He'd be here every weekend. And they were like, yeah, Friday, Saturday's going to be great. And then if he was on the road, we're like, oh,
It's
weekend's
dead.
going to suck.
It's gonna
no
suck,
hot girls will be here. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was here for all of that shit.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in many ways, he's a part of the movement of the bullshit not being there anymore.
Right.
And I'm not going to name names, but a lot of comics that ran that place to the ground.
Yeah.
In terms of like doing 3 or 4 hour sets.
Yeah.
Rogan was the whistleblower on that shit.
Yeah.
And they were all weeded out of there. Not going to name names. And
you desperately want to, though.
I'm not going to,
You keep saying it.
Not going to do it.
I'm not going to name names.
Not going to do it.
I know.
And
what was
so
one of their first
I'm not going to do that. I still sometimes thank him.
Yeah.
You know, I go, dude. And he goes, stop saying it. I go, I know, but come on, dude. He did a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's incredible. I mean, we're just very lucky to be there. You know.
How long do you think this comedy boom will be a boom before it busts?
It's not going to bust.
Because every boom has a bust.
Not this. I think it's going to stay the way, because I was there in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
When comedy was real dead.
When it was really dead.
Yeah.
I started comedy after the boom.
Yeah.
So the boom happened in the late 80s, early 90s. And then as soon as I started, it was dead.
Yeah.
Clubs were closing.
You were probably the only Asian comic anywhere.
I was.
There's been no one else.
I know. I was at the time. Me and Joe Coy.
He was around back then?
Yeah.
We're from on the West Coast?
Dude, when I was 6 months in doing comedy, I was at the Comedy Store in La Jolla.
Yeah.
And this curly-haired Filipino kid.
What?
Yeah, he had hair. And he had like this curly fro. He goes, hey, my name is Joe Coy. I live in Vegas. I go, okay, cool. He's like, I'm doing a show in Vegas. Come drive to Vegas. I do an open mic there.
What?
So I go, all right. I drove to Vegas.
For an open mic?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He went to UNLV.
Uh-huh.
But you know what he did for a job?
What?
I stayed in his apartment. Slept on his couch. Right? And I was laying there, right? In the morning, I woke up. And he was wearing his Mirage outfit.
No way.
You know what he did? He shoveled tiger shit for Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, God.
Right? So I go, where are you going? You go, I have a job. I got to go shovel shit.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Right? And that's what he used to do. And he had this girlfriend at the time, I remember.
Yeah.
I've known him since the beginning.
I didn't know he'd been around that long.
Oh, yeah. In fact, him and Tripoli hated each other because they're both from Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah. They were rivals in Vegas. I don't give a fuck if I say it.
Yeah,
they're both around. It's fine.
And they're probably fine now.
No, they're not.
We're still this rivalry.
They're not.
Wow.
Yeah, but
so you and Joe Coy, the only Asians in town.
No, there was what's his name? Edwin San Juan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was a couple.
Right.
Peter Chen.
That fucking lunatic.
Fucking Peter Chen.
Oh God. That fucking
Dat fan. I started with that.
He's been around a while.
Yeah.
He's Vietnamese, right?
Yeah, he's Asian.
Right.
Yeah. So there was.
Yeah, there were a handful.
Yeah, there were a handful. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really. I mean, here's the thing about me. Here's a secret, and I hate to say this, but when Asian comedians are too fobby,
yeah,
I don't like it.
Yeah, I've always been that way about Middle Eastern comics that like really ham it up.
Yeah.
And then and I was told that a lot when I first started. They were like, you got to just do more of do lean into the Arab thing and talk more about. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, why? I'd be forcing that shit.
You can talk about it.
Yeah, there's a way to do it.
There's a way to do it in your own voice, but
Yeah.
now I'm not even talking about the act though.
Right.
I'm talking about more just in general. They just seem fobby.
Right.
Right? They're wearing Skechers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just something, Hawaiian necklaces for no reason.
Right.
Just something weird about them.
Yeah, bowl haircuts.
Yeah, bowl haircuts.
No, they don't get it.
There was
at
a
all.
couple in San Diego that were like that.
Yeah.
And I made it a point to just cause, strife.
Really?
Yeah. I hate it.
Wow.
Because, listen, when Ali Wong, you know how I met her?
How?
She was a journalist in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I did a movie called Kicking It Old School with Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
I was doing publicity for it. And Ali was a fucking journalist then.
Wow.
And she came up to me and she was giving me an interview for the movie. And then she goes, I think about doing stand-up. And as soon as I saw her, I'm like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You could just tell. She was cute. She was young, hip,
Yeah.
right? And you go, this is what I want to see. You know?
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you see some, I want to do, stand up.
Yeah.
No.
Like, go back
Who's
to
that?
Korea.
That's fine. Yeah.
So you're kind of like a racist white guy about it.
I care about image.
Okay. So you think that that's a bad look for...
I think that, have you heard of Johnny Yoon?
I know that name.
Johnny
somehow.
Yoon was the first Asian comedian the Comedy Store ever had.
Really?
Yeah, and this is in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Johnny Yoon
what about
was
Tamayo?
Korean way before her.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Johnny Yoon wore a tuxedo on stage.
Okay.
He was Korean. He would walk up on stage,
Oh, man.
and his opening line would get a 2-minute laugh.
What the fuck?
I'll tell you what it was.
I'll give everyone $1 million if they laugh
No.
for 2 minutes.
So he would walk in front of a packed room, and his opening line is this: "Hello," 2-minute laugh.
No way.
Yeah.
You witnessed this.
No, but I met the guy, and I also seen tapes.
Jesus. That was back before.
Yeah, and that's cool then.
Yeah.
But
30 years ago.
Yeah, but there's no way now.
Yeah.
And anything that resembles that, like
It's just
like an Asian comedian wearing a
shudders.
kimono on stage, I've
Yeah.
seen that too. Recently.
Recently?
Yeah.
And it wasn't ironic?
No.
Wow.
Wearing a kimono.
But he was intentionally doing that. Just Johnny Yoon guy, right? Or no?
Yeah, he knew that if he said hello in a long, with a weird pause.
Yeah.
So he goes up on stage. He doesn't say hello right away. He just stares into the audience.
Yeah.
And he says it really long, like, hello.
Oh, God.
Right?
It's so uncomfortable.
2-minute laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. But
So
that's fine then. I don't if people do it now, it just kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think after Margaret Cho, it's like that, she changed it.
Yeah. She really showed people oh, that Asian stereotype is not.
So Ahmed, when you see him, you're fine with it?
Yeah, because he's not
Yeah.
wearing a fucking turban
So
up
there
there.
is no really Middle Eastern guys that are.
I mean, I think it's more it's not the look, because I think that whole Arab American thing started after it was not okay to really be a super stereotype about it.
Yeah.
Where people would be like, dude, this is offensive to fucking everybody,
Right.
But my problem is the comedians where every single thought is filtered through. But you know how us Persians do it. You know how us Mexicans do it. I'm like, is everything in your life filtered through? You know how this race does it? Like, man, you know us Asians, we don't eat fried chicken. Do you really? No. I mean, is that a thing? Is it a thing that
Yeah.
I
get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't go to 7-Eleven at 3 a.m. I'm Mexican. What? Is that real? Like, it's
yeah.
the most random examples filtered through just so they can get a laugh on the race. It's like, it's lazy writing, A, and B, you're playing into a stereotype that people will laugh at.
Yeah.
That drives me fucking insane. No matter what the race.
I do some of it. I do chunks of it.
Okay, what?
And, well, I'm not going to tell you specifically, but I just know that there are some that's in the vein of, but I don't. I'm also aware of that.
Yeah.
And I'm aware when I do it, but you have to also understand that stand-up, there's two real realms you live in.
Okay.
The television realm, right?
Yeah.
And the road.
Okay.
And when you do the road, especially if you don't have a name, you kind of have to do that. You ever done tribble gigs?
No, fortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
shitty bar gig, one night.
Yeah, when you're doing a Holiday Inn in Idaho, and the whole town come, they're not there to see a specific person.
Right.
We just want to see some comedy.
We want to get drunk and laugh.
Yeah, laugh. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they see an Indian guy up there, and not mentioning him being Indian.
This hasn't mentioned curry yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna storm the stage.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the reality is.
Yeah, I think that there's a responsibility.
What does it say on your thing? Why do you keep looking at it?
Because I don't want the battery to die.
What are we at time-wise?
If we're at 23 minutes. Just kidding. You're like, how much more of this is left?
What are we?
Exactly 1 hour.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. I think that there's a responsibility that a comic should have to be like, I'm not going to play into that fucking thing. Like, all these drunk white guys are waiting for me to mention curry or tacos or fucking kimchi or whatever the thing is. Otherwise, we're not going to laugh. Like, break the mold, break the expectation.
I understand that, but,
and talk about literally anything. But
you also,
act,
can I just say this though?
Yeah.
Now, cut to a guy.
Yeah.
Who has no agent, no manager. He happens to be Indian.
Right.
And he is in some fucking club. And he doesn't think, what are the implications of my act throughout my whole career?
Yeah.
He's like, how do I survive in my immediate or in the moment? Okay?
Yeah.
And you can understand why somebody would cater to the audience's feelings.
Right.
A room is packed. You want the guy that books it once you want to work again.
Of course.
All these elements are involved.
I think that I understand that, and I think that everyone does that to a degree.
You know what you're saying to me reminds me of what you did to me in fucking Arizona.
Shut the fuck up.
All right.
No, it's not. Listen.
But what you did to me in Arizona is what you're talking about.
No.
Yeah.
Because I did too much of that. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. I was extra naive about it, and
you understand why a comic would even make certain naive choices, because they just haven't learned. By trial, you make errors.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's those mistakes you learn early on, but I'm saying, like, there's people that are past all. They're professionals now. They know. They are actively making choices. They're not like, I don't know better, so I'm just going to make fun of the fact that I'm overweight or Mexican or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think there's a certain amount that is like, fine, that's okay, because you walk on stage and people are focused on the fact that you're 7'2" or whatever. So you make a joke about that, and then you just move on. But the people that make it.
But you look at a guy like Gabriel.
Okay.
I mean, he's Pepsi Cola.
Right.
And is that wrong?
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think it is. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really
super funny. And he does some catering.
Yeah. I think everyone to some degree does. And it's fine if it's like a few minutes, but when it's the cornerstone of your act, it's like,
why don't you just let people do what they do,
I do. I don't
then that's that.
I don't go like try and get in the
you
way.
hipsters, man, are fucking very like pointing your finger at people.
But like Ari Shafir is a really good example of someone who he'll make a couple Jewish jokes here and there. Yeah, because he gets that, sometimes that'll just get the laugh and it sounds ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But a lot of his act flies directly in the face of like you're the stereotypical Jewish guy comedy act.
Yeah.
That you think you can see. He's filthy. He doesn't believe in God at all. He is just disgusting in a lot of ways. And it's fucking hilarious. And so are you. You do
His
thing.
rise is so wonderful to me.
It really is.
It really is.
It's like he did it himself. Like the industry wouldn't have him, so he's like, "Fine, I'll do it on my own."
Yeah, it
tired of
really
waiting.
is amazing what he did.
Yeah,
Duncan too, a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He's doing what he does, you know.
yeah.
and
He just went straight into that. Like I love that psychedelic, trippy, sort of philosophical, futurist kind of like world, and I'm just gonna talk about that, and then there'll be a crowd for it.
yeah,
and
there is a crowd out there for
and
it.
he's really smart and really funny, and like people went right for it.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, finally a comedian that's doing this.
but back to your question about the comedy boom.
Oh yeah, you think it'll never
I'll
end?
tell you why. Because you have stuff like this, like podcasts, that
Right.
really wasn't a thing.
Okay.
And it is an alternative to radio. It is an alternative to even listen to music in your car.
Yeah.
And it's now becoming a form of... I feel like it's now going to be like a TV show where it's going to be a part of everyday culture.
Okay.
And right now, in a couple of years, you'll see Entertainment Weekly do the top 10 best podcasts in the country. I mean, you'll start seeing it in like magazines, and
Yeah.
and I think that it's going to be, and this is completely tied into live shows.
Yeah.
You know, like I could see from my podcast, Tiger Belly, my numbers go up
On the road.
immensely.
Yeah, I hear people in the crowd sometimes like yelling phrases from the show.
You're right, and I am really,
Yeah.
and I can't believe I didn't do
And
this
people
earlier.
come up to me sometimes and go, "Hey, you were great on Tiger Belly," and then
Yeah.
I go, "I've never done it, so it's weird that you'd say that."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought Bobby and I were friends.
You're on the list to do it, and
Okay.
I mean, what do you want?
Just no, you don't have to make. it.
You're gonna do it.
It's fine. You know.
No, but just listen. I want to just say something. You fucking cocksucker.
No, I just thought we were better friends.
We are better friends than that. But can I say this?
I helped you move that.
We've had 10. Okay, I've done. Fuckface. Listen, I've done about 90 episodes of Tiger Belly.
Oh, not even in the top 90. Of
We've
your,
had 10 guests.
Oh, you don't have a lot of guests.
No.
Oh.
Okay, and when we do guests once a month,
Yeah.
we had what last time
You
was
probably got like big names.
Eric Stone Street.
Yeah.
Before that, Jordan Peele,
Right.
Brian Callen, Chris D'Elia. You're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Wait a couple years.
It is fun not having to have guests. I bet. Right.
It's great. Yeah, I'm at Come Here Monday night. We don't have it this Monday, and
Do it whenever you want, however you want.
we do it Monday night,
Yeah.
and also people ask me, which is great.
Ask you to do it.
Yeah, I can't ask people.
Yeah.
I can't go because I did ask one guy, a DJ today, Dylan Francis. I go, do you want to do it? And he didn't respond to me, and it hurts my feelings.
So in your head, he looked at that text and went, "Hey guys, check this out!" And there's like 12 people there. They're all laughing.
Yeah, Steve Aoki's there with Diplo, and they're just laughing at my fucking face. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't like to ask, but anyway, you'll get on it soon.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're old friends, you know.
You're so uncomfortable about it.
I'm not uncomfortable
I was
at all.
totally kidding. I'm sure I'll be on it.
You know what?
No,
I'm gonna
not
make a
on
point.
it. No.
I'm gonna make a point. You're never gonna be on it. I'm totally fine with it. I'm totally fucking fine with
Now
it.
I'm banned
you're
from
banned.
the podcast.
But here's what I'll do.
Okay.
This Monday,
Uh-huh.
I will mention your podcast.
Oh, thank
What's it
you.
called?
It's called Nick America.
I'll tell people to watch it.
Your episode will come out on Tuesday, so it'll be perfect
I
timing.
will plug it Monday night for Tuesday.
It'll be perfect timing.
Yeah.
So you think the boom is here in a lot of ways to stay because of podcasting and that sort of a higher awareness.
Let's put it this way. Comedy clubs, at least the 3 in LA that's in the hub, isn't closing ever.
Well, yeah,
They will always be open.
yeah.
They've been open during the
yeah.
dark times, and
Right.
they'll stay open.
Yeah, I think the extra clubs that are opening and
Those will ones will
those
go away. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think the comedy boom as it exists now, where like every night the store and all these clubs are sold out, is like that can't last.
The
Podcasts
store,
are no
yes. I'll tell you
podcasts.
why. Because if it was the old lineups, yeah.
Right.
But when you have, and the other night, this was literally the lineup. Rogan, Sebastian Maniscalco, Kevin Nealand, me. It was just like 10 guys
Yeah,
that were on it. Joey Diaz,
yeah,
in a row. It's gonna, in a 250, 300 seat venue,
yeah.
it's always gonna sell out. I mean, a Rogan alone
Yeah, we'll fill.
But then you put Sebastian in there, and you put like Bill Burr or whoever it might be. Mm-hmm. It's fucking. It's done. It's that club. Maybe the Boom, but that club. As long as Adam stays there.
Yeah.
Do you think Adam will stay there? I don't.
But
I think he's gonna move on.
Yeah, if he's smart, he'll move on to some bigger, better thing sooner than later, which I think everybody.
But do you think that it's better now, or do you miss Tommy's reign?
The fuck would I miss his reign? He was the fucking worst in so many ways.
Yeah.
He was racist.
Very racist.
A very close-minded person in terms of what the world of comedy meant and how far out it in his head it was like the Comedy Store was the beginning, middle, and end of all of it, and like the people there were the best comics in the world. He had no idea. He didn't know who Burt Kreischer was, Patton Oswalt, and people like that until he didn't know who Patton Oswalt was until he saw him mentioned in Entertainment Weekly. That was his source for entertainment.
Ask Marilyn Rice Cub. Marilyn and I go there.
Yeah,
and. This is like, I think her 8th season of 24 had just ended.
Right.
And I walk up to Tommy because she wanted to go stand up, and I, hey, this is Mary Lynn. She wants to. Well, on Sundays you can sign up.
Yeah. He'd do that to.
And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. She's a TV star.
He did that to Hannibal Buress.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like, yeah, we have an open mic and da 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 da, and he's like. Cool, thanks, man. Like, he didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that was weird. And then he went and told a couple comics, and they were like, okay, hey, dude, he's on his way up. He's done blah, 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 blah. And then he was like, oh, I didn't know. It's like, you should know.
Yeah.
You're
That's what's great about Adam. He knows too much almost.
Yeah, he knows a lot about comedy. Like, comics like him. He's He's cool. Everyone gets along with him.
Also, just who's there now.
Yeah.
Is insane. I mean, there's a part. There is a part of me that goes, you got to still think about the store guys.
Yeah, upper and comers. And
no, it's not just that. It's just that there is loyalty.
Right.
And there should always be loyalty.
Right.
And there is just a group of guys there that put their lives. I literally will say that I have put blood, sweat, and tears into that fucking place.
Yeah, me too.
And I used to work there. I was there during the dark ages. Yeah. I know Mitzi. I know everyone. I mean, I've done everything. And so my fear was that I would be out.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing a great job. I think he's the best that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I just think like now there's like, you know how Netflix is now doing a new comedy special every week for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
And then there's like CISO and Showtime and HBO and all these different things. Like, those are the things that now comics in comedy are talking about now, going like, is this too much now? Like, how much more of this will people put up with? And then finally go like, I can't even keep up or pay attention. A lot of these aren't that great. Just no more. That's what happened with the last boom, except there weren't podcasts and a lot of 1 hour specials. It was just a bunch of shows like Evening
I'll tell you why.
Improv.
No, too, just to make your argument is that still back then there was cable, but not a lot. I think VH1 had one, MTV had one, and they were showcase stand up shows like Evening at the Improv,
right? And 20 others like it,
and there was no one good on those. Rarely. Okay,
right.
I'm just gonna say this.
Okay,
is that there's so many channels now that they're gonna keep making them to compete.
Right.
Because if Netflix all of a sudden says we're not doing anymore, CISO's gonna go, we're gonna do them.
Yeah.
Or some other fucking Hulu
Showtime
or whoever, or more.
Yeah.
So the reason why you don't see HBO doing as much now is because there's so much out there.
And they've never done a lot in a year. They've always been like these.
They're very picky.
They treated them as specials. These are
that's
specials.
another thing that drives me crazy about them, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Because still the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah,
and I know a couple of guys that we know that their specials suck.
There's a lot of
them shitty and
or not even shitty, but just like, hey, that could have been a better half-hour special.
Yeah.
Or maybe you should have waited another year. You know, like not like awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think everyone right now is just like get while the getting's good kind of thing. but I feel like it's done a lot of good for like people that were marginalized before, like a lot of like minority actors and comedians who used to really complain a lot. Like every role goes to white guys. The only minority roles are for the Stereotypes. Now they're getting into more things. There's more projects that are not catered to white audiences. They'll just be shows that specifically have to do with like growing up Latino, or like this show is about you know, this show's about whatever takes place in New York.
There still needs to be a little growth.
In what way?
Just in terms of Hollywood in general, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
And the prime example of that is just me just getting a show without even auditioning.
Yeah.
Is to me
playing a non-stereotypical.
Yeah, that's like a big sign of like, okay.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So, are we done?
You want to be done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how long do we do?
We did an hour 15. That's
so long.
That's
for
fun.
me.
Yeah, that's good. It's not like I was like, we have to do 2 hours. We just talk until we're like, yeah, this feels good.
Didn't it feel good?
Yeah.
I thought it felt really good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I just also in my head I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
That's fine. That's when they end. Is when you're like, hey, I think we're done.
Maybe I shouldn't have said it out loud.
It doesn't matter.
Why'd you roll your eyes just now?
Because there's no fucking rule. It's a podcast. It could be 30 minutes or 2.5 hours or anything in between that feels good. You're
How
one of the
long
best.
does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
What do you mean?
Like your hair and the way your skin is.
It's not like
Do you put moisturizer on or?
No, I just take a fucking shower and I comb my hair.
But you don't just comb it, dude.
It's, you know what's good about having short hair that you just comb over to the side?
Yeah.
It's always sort of combed. And then
but you put dippity-doo or something on it.
Yeah, but I do that like once every 4 or 5 days, and I just don't take a fucking shower and shampoo my hair every day. If I did that, it'd take longer. And I just comb it, and then
who you seeing?
I'm wearing a shirt, a jacket, and jeans.
It's not. First of all, I know you can't watch, ladies and gentlemen, but when he says shirt, jacket, and jeans,
a gray T-shirt. There's nothing special
that's
about
the only. But you do have bling around your neck.
I'm wearing a chain. I'm wearing two chains.
All right, and so the jeans.
The jeans.
Stand up for a second.
You're gonna. I know what you're gonna do.
No, I'm not gonna do anything. Just stand up for a second. There we go.
The pen crease. You love that.
You purposely do pen creases. What kind of jeans are those?
These are Stevenson Overall Company jeans.
Yeah.
I got
raw denim.
I got them. Yeah, raw denim. Got them at Self Edge.
How much?
I'd rather not say.
Yeah, because 200
There's
at
the
least.
price people pay. There's what I pay. There's a
yeah,
lot of in
200.
between.
Let's just say they're 250.
Maybe it was a sponsorship deal.
No, I know, Stevens. I couldn't even afford one of them. But
no, these are lower.
You're not just
end.
wearing jeans though.
I'm wearing raw denim.
Yeah,
premium raw denim.
Shoes. Yeah, I mean,
these are
his
Vans.
getup is.
I'm wearing. You're almost wearing the same thing I'm wearing. You're wearing raw denim.
I'm wearing a $300 raw denim. Now.
Okay, yeah, mine were less than that.
Okay,
You're
and I'm wearing a vintage MTV
vintage T-shirt that's probably worth more than the jeans, easily more than anything I'm wearing.
Yeah. I'm not arguing against it. If you were to say, "Look what you're wearing," I go, "Yeah, I dressed dirty cool."
But you're right. Yeah, but I'm not. You're trying to like not upsell, but you're trying to make what I'm wearing look cooler
I just need
than it
you to
is.
admit
Things
that
just
you
look
do
cool on me.
that you purposely do things to look cool.
Okay, you know what?
I just say this. I'm gonna.
Do you know why?
Can I just say this? Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
All right. So this is how raw denim works. Okay?
You don't know. I know.
Okay, I do know. Right? You wear. They're like cardboard when you first get them because they're raw. They're not pre-washed, and you walk away. You walk around with them, and it creates these really cool creases when they get dirty.
Yeah,
but they're natural creases. But sometimes people will put an object in their pockets, like
a wallet or
a wallet or a Copenhagen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
case, tip,
brass knuckles,
or a pen.
Yeah, that I write.
So they can
with.
make a crease. So that people can go, oh my God, those are brass knuckles or a Chinese star that they carry around. You do a pen, and you purposely do creases with your pen, because who puts a pin in the same exact spot every single fucking time?
The same people who put a wallet in the same spot every time. Why is that so weird to you? People,
if you're wearing cargo pants, you wouldn't put the fucking wallet in the same spot every time.
Yeah, I would.
No, you wouldn't, because you'd be like, because it doesn't create a crease. She's like, I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't want a wallet fucking crease. I don't want
but you want a pen crease.
No, it's just that's what happens.
Every pair of jeans,
because
you have a
it's
pen
in
crease.
there. So you know what else I have?
What
is on my back pocket where my notebook is? It fades.
You don't think I haven't noticed that either, fuckface?
But that's where I always. Why am I going to switch everything
don't
around?
Don't get defensive. I know that's the reason.
And here's the thing. Here's why it drives you so crazy.
Why?
Because you can't get your jeans to fade as well as you like, and then you see that I have stuff in my pockets and it fade. So then you do stuff like you rub dirt on them and you put sandpaper and you try and get it to work. So you're just mad that my jeans are fading faster because I walk around more, and that happens. And you're sitting there like, I can't get these jeans to fade. Then you look up things online, and then you like look up photos of my jeans, and you go, this fucking pen crease, how did he do it? And then you go buy sandpaper at Home Depot.
I don't buy sandpaper and do none of that. I bought sandpaper for my fucking Converse, you fucking piece of shit. You don't think I've done stuff like that? I fucking drove from Phoenix to LA to see my parents.
Yeah.
I bought a brand new pair of Converse. I tied them to the back of my fucking Prius.
Oh, you told me
Yeah,
this.
and I drove with them in the dragging.
How cool
on
did
the
they
freeway.
look afterwards?
Amazing. Like, I'm going to do it from now on.
That's a good idea. Oh, and then there were those shirts that you used to get and like leave out in the sun to try and get them to fade and all that. Did that ever work?
Nope.
Really?
I spent years on one of them.
You think it would?
It doesn't.
And like wash it a bunch.
That's why we have to go to Maidwarn and see what they're really doing.
You still haven't taken me there.
You haven't been there yet? Oh, yeah,
No.
Adam Egan went.
You took Adam.
No, Dean did. I'll take you. You want to go this week?
Yeah, I do actually.
All right. End it now, though.
Yeah, this is.
All right.
It's over. Thanks for doing it.